Hello and welcome to my channel Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and Paul, your sticker rock.
Still there, you haven't had it yet.
I know I haven't yet. No, sticker rock.
You
And
should
today
have
we're going
been
to
every episode. You take a bit off,
they'll teach,
and the
yourself.
other people be on with it.
But today I have Dermot and Paul back, and we're doing our favourite albums that are in our collections from 1980 to 1989. Basically what it is. And this was a tough one, Paul. Isn't that right? You were saying that
Oh
earlier.
yeah, it was hard to pick the albums. I think it was the same for all of us, was it?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing the video, so it's not as hard for me because I had them already written down.
I know it's not even that. It's just choosing that decade. Like we'll talk about it when we start doing it, but it's just a thing of, a lot of the stuff we like and talk about is the heavy rock or hard rock side of it, prog rock, whatever you like. But I started to drift from that in the 80s, which is interesting. And I went back around to it.
Yeah, you kind of went and came back again. And what we're going to do, we're going to start with Dermot, but it's going to be 3, 3, and 4. So Dermot picked, that's the way we're going to do it. And this is going to be very interesting. So I happen to clue what Paul is going to pick, and I happen to clue what Dermot's going to pick. So Dermot, do you want to kick it off?
I will indeed. I will.
1980.
So 1980, 1981, 1982. Okay,
correct.
So I'm going to start with 1980. And just to let you know what I did, I just went for vinyl. Okay, and I just went for the vinyl.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, yeah.
And what I did too is I went with more of a kind of gut feel for it than I've done previously in your videos, Pat.
Okay.
So I went for more of a gut feel, and I also went for, I wonder what Pat's going to pick, and could see like that I'd go for some sort of alternate take.
You don't know what I'm going to pick.
Being my usual rebellious self. So for 1980, I picked Levitation by Hawkwind.
Okay,
it was a fantastic album that came out at that time. Myself and all my mates got mad into this. It's just got an amazing lineup on it. You've got, of course, the great Dave Brock, but Hugh Lloyd Langton came back to them, who was the original lead guitarist, an amazingly kind of underrated guitarist. They've got Tim Blake from Crystal Machine and Gong on keyboards. And they've also got the great Ginger Baker on drums on it. Yeah. So Ginger Baker's playing on it. Absolutely amazing album. And myself and my mates really kind of, I don't know, we just discovered it when it came out, and it was kind of filed in with all the metal stuff that we
Strange enough, none of us were into Hawkwind, so we weren't bought.
Well, I bought in 1980 they reissued, because all the metal thing was big, like you said. And I remember there was a few early 70s, mid 70s singles that were released to try and cash in on it. Yeah. And Motorhead were big at the time. Yeah. They were after breaking through. So they re-released Silver Machine on a single.
Right.
And Motorhead on the back. And I have that. And then I have another EP somewhere. I don't have many singles left. But there was the Hawkwind version of Motorhead on one side and the Motorhead version on the other side.
Okay.
But they were cashing in on Slade came back, and a few other rock bands from the 70s got a second wind in that 1980 period.
Yeah, I remember anybody that played guitars and things, they just called heavy metal, and it was put in there. And we were listening to metal, and that album was in the middle of it. One of the lads bought it, and the next thing we all listened to it went, "My God, this is mad! It's heavy metal, but it's about outer space and future and all this stuff."
It's ideal for the teenage mind.
Yeah, God, this is mind blowing. So, but
that's interesting, Dermot. I haven't heard that album. Have you heard that album, Paul? No.
I wouldn't know much about Hawkwind apart from the couple of singles.
No, I wouldn't know anything about him.
I do know one thing. Like I'm friendly with Barry from the Horselips.
Yeah.
And he told me that they toured with them, and he got to know Lemmy. He said there was some laugh in the mid 70s touring with Hawkwind. They must have had some crack.
Yeah.
So I'll be digging out a few stories now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was told that's many years later. Myself and my mates, they used to be into it when we were young. We went to see Hawkwind.
Oh, right.
Opened with Levitation, the title track off it.
Okay.
And one of the lads was after dropping acid, and he levitated out of his body. He told me after the gig, saw the whole thing above it, and came back down and put himself on like a sock. Not a lot of bands that can do that for you,
Yeah, brilliant.
Anyway, 1982 or 1981, Dermot.
81, I've shown it before. You Are What You Is by, as you call him, the genius, Frank Zappa.
Absolute genius. Yeah, I love him.
absolutely amazing album.
Well, Pat, but you weren't listening to him back in '81, were you?
Not in '81, but I got into him a little bit later. But
Right.
I do have to say, I think I might have told this on the website before. I was in a record shop one day. A guy came up to me. It was about '81, and he said, "I see you and your mates are looking at all this rock stuff." And we said, "Yeah." And he said, "Do you want Danny Zappa?" And he had a studio tan under his coat, like, and wanted which it was a bit kind of extreme for us and kind of put us off.
Yeah.
But as I go back over,
we weren't into it, but Kevin bought Tinseldown Rebellion in '81.
Did he?
Yeah.
Live album that came out. And I loved it straight away. Kevin wasn't particularly.
Yeah, never did much for me.
But I got it, and I didn't revisit Zappa for years after. But brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant album, brilliant double studio album.
I have visions now of what you're saying. As a fella up in Clonmel going around with a big overcoat. Loads of albums that you haven't heard.
That's right,
like a pusher, you know.
Yeah,
you know who was like that? Do you know who was like that down here in the record shop in Sinnott's in Waterford, Patsy? You go and buy a Van Halen album, you know, and you go, "Look, lads, that's grand, but do you know who Howlin' Wolf is?" And we go, "No, you will, give it a try."
Yeah. But I mean, that's how a lot of us kind of expanded our taste. I remember, you know, listening to stuff, and there was a guy that lived up the road from me, and he'd go down past and he'd say, "Oh, I see you're still listening to that heavy metal." And it was him that said to me, "Have a listen to this," and handed me Rainbow Rising. And like, it just kind of changed my whole view of everything.
That's very interesting. So, 82 anyway.
82 now. I had a bit of trouble because I was trying to, before I was on your channel, and I picked out a Peter Gabriel album from 82. And I said, "No, I'm not going to be too repetitive now. I've already picked Zappa, and I showed that in your channel before." So I thought, well, what else from 82? And I picked Donald Fagen, The Nightfly, which a slick, cool album, still has a lot of what Fagen's all about on it. It's kind of a conceptual album about a kid in the 1950s view of what the future would be. A really lovely album. I
remember that when it came out, right? But at the time, his hair was too short, so I wasn't doing it.
That's it.
You know, shit when you're 16 or 18, you know.
Yeah, but you'd know a lot of the songs. You'd know some of the songs. New Frontier, you know, what a beautiful world it would be, and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, I know the stuff. Yeah,
I must revisit that now.
I dug it out again recently and just was blown away by it. Actually,
yeah, but back in '82, Dermot, we wouldn't have listened to that. We saw that cover and we'd say no.
Well, you see, I mean, I had some kind of friends. I had a friend who was a DJ, and he had a copy of that, and he used to play it every time I'd go around to his flat. He was kind of a bit older than me, had his own flat. He used to smoke.
Yeah, it often takes someone like that, doesn't it? It's a bit older. I mean, I'll tell you, I'll show an album later on, the same kind of thing. I have a mate who had an older cousin, and he's 4 years older than us, and he was an artist. We were in art college. He was finishing, we were starting. And I remember my mate, that cousin of his, maybe he was moving in with the girlfriend or the wife, I don't know. But he gave him tons of NMEs from 76 to 81. Treasure trove of stuff. Punk, a whole lot. And through those magazines, this Droner I'm talking about, Pat. And he had access to bands we'd never heard of. And suddenly then he was no longer, he had lost interest in the rock thing too. But he was, we used to remember the old mail order. You had order albums from England.
That's right, yeah.
But that's what he used to do. And then he'd be getting all these really oddball kind of things, which are kind of cool. But so it's good to have someone like that in the.
Thanks for that, Dermot. Thanks for that, Paul. You started out 1980, by
1980. Now, you know I'm going to throw an honourable mention, right? So that's okay.
Absolutely, you do that, yeah.
Okay. So my choice for 1980 is that. Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden's first album, yeah.
I was 16 when that came out, giving me age away. And I saw a video recently of a man out of Metallica. He was doing a video saying, they must have asked him what's your favorite. And he had that record and he said, I didn't even know what it sounded like. I bought it for the cover.
Yeah. And
I went, me too. Because I used to like trying to draw stuff and that. When I saw that down the record shop, I went, fucking, that must be, what the fuck is that? And next thing, they were on top of the Pops doing Running Free. And they were like a punky version of Judas Priest or something. You know, they were, your mom sang in a lower register. And I kind of went, I wouldn't mind being in the band. And I could kind of sing like him. I couldn't sing like that Rob Halford fella. He's too up in the sky. But that's my one. And what's interesting about this album is that they hated it. Most of the band hated it, actually, because the production on it is not great. according to them. But seemingly they got some fella in to produce who just literally smoked cigars and had his feet up on the desk, got paid and fecked off. So they just got through it as best they can. So it has a very raw kind of feel. And the guitar player, Dennis Stratton, the guy that was the second lead guitarist, he was into funk and soul and Al Green and all that. But because of the age maybe he was at, and he was trying out the metal things, but I think they fired him or he left, I don't know. But I remember that album. That was like, and I even had the T-shirt of that going around. But I was trying to draw. I used to paint. I had that painted on the back of my jacket. Yeah. Remember that? I copied it right as close as I could, and it looked pretty close to it. But I remember the jacket got robbed in the nightclub in Waterford we used to go down to, and I was after saving up. Me and Kevin were after saving up for these jackets. You know, those kind of biker jackets. You know, some arsehole robbed me jacket, and that's my honourable mention. Heaven and Hell.
Brilliant.
Which is probably 100 times in a way better than this, but that's my favorite. That would be the other one I go to. And then for 81, I would have picked a favorite album as opposed to because I could have picked any other rock album, Mob Rules, you name it. But actually, I love that one, Blackfoot Marauder.
Oh God, yeah.
That was like Leonard Skinner if it was played by Motorhead or something. Yeah. They were really heavy version of Southern rock, but what a fantastic fucking album that is.
Yeah,
in every way.
At the time, yeah.
That's it. I bought that in 1980 when it came out, or 81.
We would have all bought that. It was long gone, yeah.
And then I backtracked and picked up the ones before it. I didn't like the live one is not bad, but the one after that again, where your man from Uriah Heep joined them, and they tried to get poppy. That wasn't a great album, but this thing, Diary of a Working Man, and then you have all that really heavy stuff. Good Morning. Brilliant album.
Yeah, it's great. It's an album I must get.
Brilliant album. And then my honourable mention is this one, which is another fave of mine from that time, UFO. It's not really considered a classic UFO lineup. Schenker had been gone for a couple of years. They had that guy Paul Chapman playing, but that is a brilliant rock album.
What's the name of the album?
The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent.
Okay, I don't have that one.
That's a gem. That's a forgotten album. Check that out. You'll love it. Then 82 I'm on to, right? That's my third one, is it?
Yeah, 82, yeah.
So this is my choice for 82.
Diamond Head.
Your favourite artist. Diamond Head.
That too, yeah.
And I remember buying this in Dublin. Look at that. Not brilliant.
You would have bought that in the we used to go up to Dublin regularly. And
up to the sound cellar.
Sound cellar. We go down, so you'd have all these on the wall going down in the sound cellar, yeah.
Like, I got this when it came out, and I think it even has the original poster.
That's after being reissued now, Paul.
I know, yeah, but this is the one I bought in 82. Look, isn't that mad?
And it's not Rodney Matthews, it is.
Yeah, used to be on my wall, look.
Yeah, he's my favourite artist when it comes to...
I know, you were saying that on the other call. So that'll be my night. That's a brilliant album. And a lot of them thrash metal bands and all the other lads kind of ripped them off a little bit. But they also were a bit of a copy too. They were doing they mixed Purple and Zeppelin. That's what they did.
Weren't you saying, Paul? I remember you saying we were at a music night out in your place that didn't Metallica do a cover of theirs and give them?
Oh, Am I Evil is fantastic.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit of.
Well, they also because I think they kind of made a bit of a balls Diamond Head. Their third album, they heard U2 and they tried to get more like that, and they changed direction too quick, too fast, and they lost a lot of the rockheads that liked them. That's actually not a bad album, the third one, but it is kind of forgettable in a way. But they messed up, and I think they lost, like the drummer and bass player left, went away or whatever. And I think as a band, financially, they just fell apart. And I think Metallica, in a way, the guitar player with Diamond Head is in Saxon now, actually. He's in the touring version of Saxon. But anyway, I think they financially saved him because they were huge fans and they covered 3 of their songs on those cover albums they did during the 90s. And I'd say it sorted the lads out financially in a week.
Probably, yeah.
The Diamond Metallica did Helpless, It's Electric, and Am I Evil. All brilliant versions. And actually, it's just good hard rock,
No, it's a great album. It's an album I'll have to get again because I didn't know it.
My honourable one is that one. You often heard us talk about that.
Yeah,
yes,
that's a great one. That's a great rock album. And we used to, when I was in a band, I was about 18 with a couple of the lads, we were doing a few covers, and we used to do Another Piece of Meat. Is that on this? Not sure. Can't remember. Anyway, the Scorpions, brilliant album. But that's a reissue now. I lost my original copy traveling. And you see that guy, that's your man that lives up by you there.
I know, Gottfried Helmwein.
Your man, Gottfried Helmwein. That's himself.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I remember the first time I met him. I suddenly realized he was the guy off the cover of Black.
I know, and the thing is, that was done for in the 70s for a magazine, I think, and he rejigged it for that album. So there you go. That's my first three anyway.
Anyway, very good, Paul. Thanks for that, bite.
No bother.
Cool, Paul. Great choices. Yeah.
Great choices, Paul. Absolutely superb.
You're a bit of rock down there, like much more rocky now than me, you know.
I knew he's 1980.
That'll change.
I knew the 1981 with Iron Maiden's for because you always
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my first one in 1980 is no surprise, Dermot. Yes, drama.
Indeed.
Don't know whether you are familiar with this one, Paul.
No, never liked them.
I know you're not a prog man, but this was a kind of a shock to a lot of people because they had the Buggles on this.
Yeah, but that's our man. He joined him later, did he? Or he had something to do with him, did he? Trevor Horn.
Trevor Horn was on this. He sang on this.
Did he produce him later on? Did he not produce the next one with Trevor Robbins?
He produced the next one, and Jeffrey Downs, isn't it, on keyboards?
That's right, yeah.
And everyone was shocked, like, the Buggles with their Video Killed the Radio Star. But actually, this is their heaviest album, Paul. Actually, I must, next music.
Are there songs on it now, or are they workouts?
The workout songs. No, it's different now, Paul, than the...
Bring it out with you to the... All right, next time I'm over at your music, I'll throw it on.
Or you have one before that.
Or whatever, bring it out with you.
The track on it, Machine Messiah, he'll tell you, Dermot, it's just incredible track, isn't it?
Mind blowing, yeah.
It's absolutely heavy. It's heavy. Like, it's bordering on prog metal in places, isn't it, Dermot? This is...
Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just a great, like, innovative album, and it has a sound all of its own. And I didn't even know the two boys were out of the Buggles. I remember buying it after it came out and going, oh, so they've got this new singer and this new keyboard player. I didn't know who the bloody hell they were. And just listening to this.
Kevin and myself got into Yes in 1980, and we wouldn't buy that album because of the Buggles were on it.
Well, you missed out. So when did you pick it up? When did you get over your prejudice?
Oh, it would have been later on in the 80s. Later on in the 80s, yeah. When we were starting to broaden our music horizons, Yeah,
you were going in for longer guitar solos.
Longer guitar solos, yes. Epic tracks.
They weren't happy, Dermot, with a song for... They wanted 5 songs in one.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, 1981, actually.
Less royalties, but more playing.
I know you'll all agree with this album. That's 1981. Moving Pictures.
Brilliant.
Good.
What an incredible album.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's probably their high point in many respects. A lot of people think it is. I know Signals came after, which is amazing too, but I think then after that, they disappeared, really, didn't they?
I remember buying Grace Under Pressure, and it was all right. But I like Hemispheres. It's my favorite, I think.
Hemispheres is amazing. Like this it's still some album even today. Like we played it out in your place there recently, Paul, didn't we? It was time before that. And it's just an incredible album, isn't it?
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Amber Eye, Red Barchetta.
Yeah,
brilliant. Now this is where I had to pick 2 albums. As I know I'm cheating, but there I'm going.
I have the honourable mentions. That's my cheating.
These are giant. These 2. I'm talking about Rush, and Paul will tell you. We heard this album. We were down at a Mama's Boys concert down in the Showboat here in Waterford, and this album wasn't even out, and they were playing it. Not right, Paul?
That's right,
yeah, and they were playing it. We were all saying, "That's brilliant."
They must have had an advanced copy or something.
Advanced copy, and
they were starting to get known, so they would have had contacts.
To me, this is their last great album. To be honest with you, their last great album. After that, you say Grace Under Pressure, which I do like, but it's too 80s if you play.
I think the keyboards took over. That was the problem. They got and the same with Van Halen. Like your man started getting tired of the guitar, I suppose, and wanted to write pop songs, and I think they were probably leaning into that too.
And I just couldn't pick between that and this next one. It's Eli, Time to Turn. Right. Look at that cover by Rodney Matthews.
Yeah, deadly, yeah.
It's just incredible. And if you look at this was only released in the UK, right? Only. That's the cover they released in the rest of the world. And I don't know why they didn't release this everywhere else. Because look at the cover. The cover alone would make you want to buy it.
Yeah.
because it's that good, and you have to have it on it. But you have
It
to.
did. It
Well, that's
worked
like me
for
with
us
that.
when we were all younger, didn't it? The cover.
Yeah,
That's it, like, and they were clever when you think about it. Like, what does I mean today? I don't know that people respond to images; they're just so bombarded with it. But I mean, you have to look back on what we were looking at and able to look at 1980 or whatever, 82.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Covers grabbed you, and they knew what grabbed young fellas, they did, like,
and covers. Like I bought the
especially in the rock world.
Yeah, I bought the Magnum Chase the Dragon album because of the cover.
Hmm.
Love the cover. Again, the same artist.
But then, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I would have liked stuff. And I didn't bring it today, but like Killing Joke and bands like that were Joy Division that were a bit kind of against that trend, but equally amazing looking artwork. It was like what you were saying before we recorded, Dermot, how the system has to shift. That was a shift that back then,
Yeah, yeah.
it was almost like ugly
Yeah.
covers in a way. They were the opposite of that attractive
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right then, Dermot, 1983 and 4.
Okay.
And 5.
Okay. I'm going to be really predictable. I picked this one before, and I'm going to pick it again. Yes, it's 90125. You talk about covers. This is the era of the Dyer cover when you had some marketing agency coming up with some. Oh, we'll have the name of the band, a color, and a symbol in the middle of the cover.
That's so heavily art directed. It's sick.
Yeah. Look at
the
cover is terrible, actually.
But and I don't mean sick like kids being sick.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not the new version of sick. Nice to know you're down with the kids, Paul.
Well, I tell you an interesting thing about that album. Kevin and myself, remember Patsy opened, we were talking about the record shop. He opened his own in Georgia, in Georgia Street. And we went in there and he said, come here, I tell you, yes, I have a new album out. And we said, fuck off, we don't want to hear that thing. I heard us at the changing, like, poppy, whatever. And he played it and we'll have one each. Bought it straight away.
I bought it, and I just felt like just to support them and something they were doing, and I still think Anderson's voice is on there. There's little bits and pieces that kind of remind me of what they had been.
It's more rock though. It's more rock though, isn't it?
It is.
It's very pop rock.
Yeah, it is. It is. And compared
I
to
look at the corporate rock, Paul, even I would call it some of the tracks on it.
Yeah.
That corporate.
They talk about this yacht rock now.
Yeah.
And it's got a little bit of that to it, but I don't know. At the time, it was yes to me. I was in love with the band, and I just wanted to support them. I bought the thing, and even now I listen to it, and it kind of brings me back to that time in my life when I was an innocent young girl.
Yeah. I think my sister bought it actually, and she left it behind when she went to America. And it was in my record collection till about 3 months ago. Who did I give it to? You or Mick? Somebody.
No, Mick.
I don't like it that much, so I just thought it's never getting played. And I knew Mick. It's a good guitar album. If you like guitar, like the man Trevor Robbins, tasty. So I knew Mick would like it.
He did exactly.
Yeah, I had something really profound I was going to say about it, but it's gone out of my head.
Oh, sorry, it'll come. It's probably a lie. It's probably a lie. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's probably something I just pulled out of the ether.
Yeah,
so
come back
1984, I've got Three of a Perfect Pair by King Crimson. I absolutely. I mean, when this album came out, I was just stunned by it. I mean, the first side of it. So you've got the left side and the right side, so to be quirky on the back rather than side one and side two. And the left side's all kind of very song oriented, but the right side is complete, absolute prog, but done in a real 80s fashion. So it starts with Industry, which is like kind of industrial noises and all done using guitars, which is
Talking Heads, Dermot. I always found that album very similar to Talking Heads.
Well, I mean, with Adrian Belew's vocals on it,
it's Talking Heads. I remember we heard those albums when we were into King Crimson. I know I can't speak for Kevin, but I didn't like him back in the 80s. I love him now, but back in the 80s they didn't do that in Forests,
Well, 21st century.
What I'm picking up here is probably very early on, about 82. I fell out of love with the kind of metal and rock very quick. I was into it for for a good, not for a good while. I mean, I look back and it must have been only about a year or something. I was into kind of metal and rock, and then I just, thanks to that fucker up the road with the Rainbow Rising and things like that.
But you know, it's like the whole metal thing. What I find, like, with lads who like, say, indie music or punk, not everybody, of course, but they're quite snobby about stuff, right? Whereas what I found with anybody who's served their time, let's call it, with heavy rock, right? Yeah. You are a bit more open to the blues, plus the likes of the Talking Heads, or it's just. But I often find, like, there's a lot of sneer when it comes to what we class as heavy rock. But I think it was a brilliant introduction, because I know for me there was an encyclopedia came out by '81 that Droner had. I have a copy, still have it, and it was one of those encyclopedias that gave you like an eighth of a page about a band from a different decade. And then you'd read a thing like, you know, I don't know, take your pick of a band that you'd like, and they'd mention somebody. You're going down to find out what that's about. And then he or her would mention someone else. Yeah. You know, and the fact that your man introduced you to that, then you would have read up probably on them. There's a whole new world open. That happened to me.
I'll tell you what happened was I had a guy, I was in school with a guy, and he used to get these, his father used to work in Saudi Arabia, and he used to come back with these pirate cassette tapes of albums. And he used to bring them back, and they were all, on the inside, it would list all these other artists and albums. Right. And one of them that it listed was King Crimson. And it had two albums down about him, The Court and Lark's Tongues. And it was since picked them out. And next thing, like, this was early 80s then, like, King Crimson come back. The minute I saw albums out by him, I bought them. And I was really into them because they were taking... You know, I saw this kind of, oh God, look at the technology that's changing in music and how things are moving forward, but they're using it all wrongly. They're using it to make people who can't sing sound like they can sing. People with one finger playing a keyboard and things like this. And what I heard on King Crimson was all that technology being used by really strong musicians.
It's like AI at the moment. Everybody's going on about it. You know, all it's going to take is somebody to learn how to control it.
I agree.
I mean, for the arts, whatever it'll probably wreck the world with robotics, but at least you know, for our
but side two of that album is just like it's kind of this kind of industrial landscape with guitars using all that kind of technology, and it just goes on and explodes into this thing. And I couldn't take side two of it off the record player for months. I'd say about 2 months. I couldn't touch it. It was just mind-blowing. So 85, right? So we said we were after getting. We didn't have like multi-channel television until about 85 when somebody set a transmitter up on Slieve-na-Mon, and you could buy an aerial and you could pick up the English channels if the weather conditions,
if the wind was blowing the right way.
Exactly. So anyway, the whistle test was on, so they changed it from the whistle test to whistle test. And one of the things that they'd advertised was, this week we're going to have an interview with Jimmy Page and Roy Harper. And we said, oh, great. None of us knew who Roy Harper was, but we knew who Jimmy Page was. And a load of my friends came around the house that night because we had one of the aerials. And they were looking at this album. Oh, I have it upside down. Roy Harper, whatever happened to Jugular? And it's Roy Harper and Jimmy Page. And it's
I never heard that album. Is it good?
Oh, it's mind blowing. Is
it acoustic or is it electric?
It's acoustic and electric.
I used to have a Paul. I used to have that album.
Yeah. It
reminded me of a Rizla paper.
Well, I nearly bought another copy of it a while ago because you can cut it all out and make a Rizla packet. And there's a lyric in it, break out the Rizlas and roll up a place to unwind. But yeah, I mean, Page and Harper took the piss out of the people the whole way through the interview. And we just thought, this is great. And I went down and bought this. And this is just a brilliant album. I really
like it. You'd like it.
Yeah. So, whatever happened to Jugular by Roy Harper.
I used to have a Paul. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, Paul.
Right. 83 I'm starting, am I?
83, 83.
The Old Faithful.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yes,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I actually saw their second last gig in the RDS. I went
Did
up
you?
to it, and the week after, I think they played the Reading Festival, and that was the end of Thin Lizzy. And it was absolutely brilliant gig, and that was their more metal album, let's call it.
Yeah,
So that'd be my choice. I remember going up to it, and they were passing us. We were all waiting outside, and they passed by in the cars, and your man Sykes and Lynott and all that. I don't have much to say about it. I just love it as a good hard rock album. But I met Phil Lynott then 2 years later, about 6 months before he died. He played the Bridge Hotel in Waterford with Grand Slam, and we were chatting to him. He looked shook now. You could tell the man wasn't well, but what a great crack. He must have been there for an hour with us, hanging out and whatever. But yeah, I don't really have much to say beyond what a brilliant album.
Yeah.
It just speaks for
Yeah, it is
itself.
brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant.
I mean, the covers are a bit cheesy and all that, but I don't care. But it's just a good rock album. It's a bit heavy. It doesn't really sound like Lizzy, I suppose. He took it in. He was trying to cash in, I suppose, and Sykes being the uncle he was at the time and doing all that flash crap. But it's a brilliant rock album. The songs are great. The Holy War is brilliant. Cold Sweat,
I
absolutely.
think Sykes really worked with the band. I think he
Did actually, yeah. Well, he gave him a new.
I agree. Yeah.
He did. He definitely gave him a new kick up the arse and all that. I just thought that, it was a bit weird. Like I would imagine if you're in a record company and you're looking at Phil Lynott, you'd be going, "Well, hang on a minute. You're doing these pop songs at solo, Old Town, and all this, and now you're up there with the studded wristband." And I don't know what happened, but sure, he had all the issues in himself. But apart from all that, as a rock album, it's just a shame they never did another one. That's all.
Yeah,
it's a pity. Yeah, it's a pity.
Yeah, it was great. And my follow up is going to absolutely surprise you, I think, because this was the time when I kind of went, heavy rock is just getting dull now. So when I heard these lads, I went, holy shit, the Smiths, fucking brilliant album.
Yeah,
people were giving out about Morrissey with the plant of his arse and all that. I didn't give a rat's arse. When I heard that guitar playing on this, because I loved it. I had an ear for the kind of, let's say, the country rock or the blues or the Birds and all that. And the hark back to that 60s pop sound. When I heard Sandy Denny doing, what was a Hand in Glove, I bought the 12-inch. And I didn't know who they were. They were her backing band. But my mother saw her on top of the pops and she goes, that's Sandy Denny. She's back. And I said, who's Sandy Denny? I thought she was just some singer. She was absolutely brilliant. And then I did a bit of research and I found the album. Now, when I saw him, your man Morrissey, you could kind of take him or leave, and he was just playing a part, I suppose. That would be my switching point. You were talking about getting fed up with rock. 83 was the year for me when I just went, lads, get over yourself.
Well, okay, it'll be interesting to see what your 84 is then.
You will. So what's yours for 1980? Was it 2,
you're
3?
You're in 84 now.
Oh, I'm on 84, am I?
Yeah.
I thought we were done. Right.
No.
Okay, sorry. Violent Femmes. Hallowed Ground.
Okay.
You ever hear that? That is the most insane album ever. It's
my friend Stephen, who has his channel in England, he was big into them.
So was I. And this is the thing you were talking about, Dermot. Your mate turned you on to stuff. I went down to his house one day and he went, put away your Led Zeppelin records, waiting to hear this. And I went, is it better? He said, no, it's got nothing to do with being better. He said, it's just put it on. And it's the weirdest. Your man Gordon Gano, the singer, it's a 3-piece. Your man's on acoustic guitar, electric, whatever. They have a stand-up bass and a guy on, let's call it percussion. He played everything from bottles to just banging crap. But it's the weirdest country punk rock. I don't even know what you call it, but there's religious undertones, as you can tell from the sound. It's an amazing album.
Where are they
in
from?
Every way. There's even jazz on it. Like they're from Minnesota, I think.
Oh, American band, yeah.
They're Americans. I think it's Minneapolis, but I'm not sure. But when I heard that, there's a song on it called "Black Girls." I'm not going to repeat the lyrics for you because you just have to listen to it. But it's mad. It's like free jazz in the middle of this amazing song, and then they go back to, and it's all this. You know that song "Blister in the Sun"?
Yeah.
You probably know that, do you? Do you know that, Dermot?
No. Yeah, I know. I've heard that.
No, I don't. No.
I'd say. Well, anyway, I'm not sure if you'd like it, but it's well worth checking out. Check him out on YouTube or whatever.
I have heard of them.
This album, their first album is very. It's just acoustic 3-piece with a guy on a snare drum, brushes. Very empty, very sparse, but brilliantly written lyrics. Very clever lyrics and very catchy tunes. Very catchy riffs, but all done on the bass because he's basically strumming. And it's not the Stray Cats. It's not rockabilly. To me, it's like gothic country kind of punk played acoustically. But by the third album, they got in your man from the Talking Heads. I think he was the drummer. and he produced the third album, which is a great rock and roll album, but it's a complete shift from this. They must have felt like they had to make a few bob or something. So I like it, but it's kind of a different way. This one and the first one are worth getting. And then my little nod to the one I like is the Dream Syndicate, the Medicine Show.
Okay,
they started out as a kind of to me, like a second-hand Velvet Underground, right? I have their first few albums. I can take them or leave them. At the time, I kind of liked it because it was anti-singing in a way. But your man, Sandy Pearlman, he was a well-known rock producer, I think. He got hold of him. And that's a very good rock album. That's I think I showed you. That's the test pressing I showed you, Pat, where the lacquer was coming off. Remember?
Yes.
My aunt, how I heard about him was not through the magazines or anybody at the time, but my aunt worked for A&M Records as a cleaner in London, of all things, in their offices. And she came home. Remember, my aunt used to come home every year.
I remember that,
yeah. And she brought home a bag of records. Said, "You and Clive might like these," the brother. And he didn't really like any of it because it wasn't heavy stuff. But in it was a load of test pressings and stuff. For that they were throwing it out or whatever. And it was that thing I showed you, Pat, that lacquer thing of them. I got this since then. I got the actual play. The other thing's not playable. But this is an interesting album. Your man's voice is good in this, and they're kind of playing, like songs like Bullet with my name on it. It's a bit more rocky, but it's not heavy rock. It's kind of underground rock, I suppose.
Okay.
And that's what I started leaning into. I got away from the screaming, singing. I got away from the stupid clothes and the stupid fucking solos and the stupid big fucking dragons and all that. Dio was the last touch of all that. I kind of liked it. I kind of grew up, I think, or grew out. I was in art college. I was starting to meet people that were saying, no, and I still was playing heavy rock at home. I still love me Black Sabbath albums and all. But I was putting on stuff that I wouldn't have put on 2 years before. A bit like yourself.
Paul, I think one of the things that turned me off the heavier rock and it was the journalism in these publications.
Idiots.
This is rivet munching.
It's not.
And you'd just be thinking, it's not. It's crap, basically.
They're just regurgitating the same thing, and it's also like, they're turning an AC/DC backwards, let's say, and it's just the same thing. There was very few good rock albums, I thought, that I would have liked, I suppose, after 84. I mean, maybe you could argue like Van Halen's 84, it is brilliant from 84, but it also got a bit tiring for me. I just thought, like, Hot for Teacher and all these stupid lyrics, and I was looking for more. I wanted to hear more, but I wasn't going into the prog road that the lads are going into, which is more complex. I was looking for more interesting themes and people singing about stuff that I thought maybe kind of mattered a bit more, or maybe they were dealing with, I don't know, psychology or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just stuff that wasn't driving down the road on my big fast car. Fair play. And you're right about those magazines. I used to buy Kerrang. I still have the first 20 issues of Kerrang.
Yeah.
And after that would have been that was 20 months. So they probably stopped making that. Though they're still bringing it out, but I stopped buying it in about 84. And I'm actually in issue 18.
I never knew you were famous, Paul, but
not for being in a band.
Yeah,
it was hilarious. It was they had a pen pal section.
Okay.
And I put a photograph of myself. Do you remember that, Pat?
Yes.
And I put in a photograph of myself, and they printed the ad, right? You could put it in for free. It was like you didn't have to pay for it. So they picked 5 or 6 girls and guys of about 16 to 18, and they put you up, and you'd be looking for pen pals, right? So I did it anyway. And I remember writing my message was looking for girl pen pal, must have long hair, hate sport and fags, right? I meant cigarettes, right? Yeah. So I wasn't into sport either. So then out of nowhere, about a month later, a sack of letters arrived at my door. I couldn't get a look at a girl in Waterford with me half long hair and with all the lads in me idiot leather jackets and all this. And I remember, do you remember all them bags of letters? I never forget. Like the postman was going, what's going on? For about a month, every week.
You had pen pals. Remember the pen pal I had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like it was mad, and it was really funny because we were sitting on the wall outside the house, and the lads would be going, if you're not right, can I write to her if you're not writing to her? So I used to be giving out the letters to the lads, and I always remember, like, telling the story, there was one or two. I actually still in touch with one of them, a girl in Scotland who's a good friend of mine, and we went over to visit herself and our partner a few times, and we got back in touch recently through Facebook. But I lost touch with all of them, you know. But there was one that made me laugh. There was a photograph that came from America, and everybody else was sending, you know, what we used to call the Woolworths passport photograph, the little picture.
Yeah,
so that was the level. That was the level of photograph you might get. So there were real people living, God knows where, around England and wherever. But there was one came in from America, right, which is really weird, because I don't think many came from that part of the world. And it was a real proper photograph, but it would look like a headshot, you know, like a proper taken picture. And the girl was absolutely stunning, and we all went, "That's a fake. That's not real. That couldn't be real." And one of the lads said, "Can I have her? I'll write to her." And we were going, "Yeah." I gave it to her, and I lost the picture because I gave it to him. But I always remember, and then I remember watching the TV about 10 years later, and I'm convinced to this day it was Heather Locklear. She was 17. She's the same age as me now, right? I was always the same age as me. But before she got into and she was into rock, guys. I guess she married the Bon Jovi fella and the Motley Crue fella. But when we were kids in Ireland, she found it. I would nearly put money on it that it was her, that she was probably just writing. I'm hoping it was. It would have been very flattering. But it was very funny. And then I got another letter. I go back to the records in a minute. This is funny. And your woman, someone in Germany, an American one, the daughter of a soldier, you know, in those American camps. Yeah, she wrote to me and she said, "What have you got against gay people?" I didn't know what she meant. I said, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, the FAG word, you know, and I'm going, "That's just cigarettes, isn't it?" And the lads went, "No, not in America."
Yeah, not in America, no.
And I was going, "Okay, fine." I don't. It was just a mad time, but I always remember that. Yeah, so I'm in Kerrang. There you go. Never got on the front cover though.
So 85 anyway, Paul.
Sorry, Pat. 85. Is that where I am now?
Yeah, 85. Yeah.
The Cult.
The first album, yeah.
First album, and that's where my interest in rock lay, because they were taking it slightly differently. They were a bit more out there. They weren't doing that. They went later on back into it themselves. But this thing is brilliant. I
always found them a bit eclectic, is the word for rock.
Bit what?
A bit eclectic. They were outside.
Yeah, they were part of that gothic kind of movement, that kind of goth rock carry on, Fields and Nephilim and all them. But they took it somewhere else. Your mom was into American Indian stuff, and there's some great songs on this, like She Sells Sanctuary and Revolution, Hollow Man. Brilliant riffs. And your man on the guitar, Billy Duffy, he was a good friend of the guy in the Smiths, actually. But he came out of that band, Spirit of Destiny, I think he played with. So he already had, and he was in the Death Cult with them. So they were kind of punky, but they were starting to play more rocky stuff. So this is an original copy, actually. I think they reissued it recently, didn't they?
I think they reissued.
This is a really nice copy. It's in great nick, and it has the embossed cover and everything. So that would be it. And then the honorable mention is the one that it's the only album my mother ever told me to take off the record player, which is The Sisters of Mercy. She thought I was trying to kill myself when she heard that.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember she telling
me. I never go into your room, and I like that Ian Gillan fella. I like that Deep Purple singing, but I can't listen to that. She said, "Are you all right?" And it's like Iggy Pop, as if he was detuned so far down. You know, it's really, and it's anything but depressing. But your man's voice is really low, so that's the honorable mention. So I won't say I went through a goth phase, but I did listen to these two in '85.
Listen to those two. Well done, Paul. They're great picks,
right? That's it.
Right, my 1983 is it's going to be obvious, because the way Paul said I was getting out of the rock as well, but I was going into prog and ambient with Tangerine Dream, and we loved Floyd, the Final Cut. I bought this when it came out on LP. Couldn't wait to get it home, and I still love the album to this day. A lot of people don't like this album, Paul.
I stopped at the wall, and even then with me, you know, I'm not a big Floyd fan anyway.
Yeah, but this is a brilliant album. It's an anti-war album. Time of the Falklands.
All right.
Yeah, and it's a Roger Waters dominated album. He wrote everything on it. Gilmour played the guitar on this in a separate studio, his own studio. You know the studio he has down on the Thames.
Oh yeah, in Sunbury there, Lower Sunbury.
Yeah. So they were after falling out with each other, and
right.
You know what I mean. So, but it's a brilliant album. Brilliant album.
And was that the original lineup still?
No. Richard Wright was sacked after the Wall.
Oh, was he?
He's not on that. Yeah, Nick Mason is on it, all right. But there's one track he's not on it, Two Suns in the Sunset, because the drums are too difficult to play, and Roger Waters got in Andy Newmark, I think, to play the drums.
Right.
But brilliant album. A lot of people don't like it.
I remember when it came out, like myself and my friends were a bit disappointed with it, because
I loved it.
You know, I mean, people don't seem to like understand how big The Wall actually was when it came out.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
massive.
the wall was
And it
huge.
was huge. And we loved The Wall. We were all mad into The Wall. Like, and next
And
thing,
that's a similar
this
kind of
thing
album,
came
The
out,
Wall.
and it just wasn't there. But the thing is, in later years, I've gone back to it, and I do enjoy it now. Yeah, and it falls in with all those Roger Waters solo albums. It's kind of like
very similar to that. Yeah, and sure, 6 of
Yeah.
the tracks on the album are tracks he left off The Wall.
Ah, right.
So it has the Wall feel to it. You get me? It has that sound, and I like it. I think it's a brilliant album. Anyway, 80. Where are we now? 80. Sure, 84.
84, sorry.
Yeah, and see, I was getting into Zappa then. You see, like I was out of the rock stuff at the time, and Zappa, Demarus.
Yeah, great.
Right, and CDs were a thing now, right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we couldn't get over the sound of CDs, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a brilliant album. Actually, you might like it. You like the Allman Brothers, Paul, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
He does whipping post on this.
Oh, no, it's a brilliant. I saw it, but he's taking the piss though.
No, but this is on the studio. This is studio. It's not live.
Oh, I saw the live one. They're just having a go.
Oh, they're having
It's
a go.
great.
But on this, they don't.
All
You
right.
know, on this, they don't. You know. But my favorite.
But Whipping Post is an old blues song.
That's right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but the Allman Brothers made it famous, didn't they? Really.
And he's doing a version of their version. Is that it?
Yes, that's it. But my favorite track on this, Paul, Frogs with Dirty Little Lips. I just think that some of the song titles. I think he wrote that with his son, I think.
Right.
Anyway, and we're going to 85 again because there's nothing beats Frank Zappa again in 85. Frank Zappa meets the mothers of prevention.
Yeah.
And this was an at the time, do you remember in 85, there was all these labels were going on the
PMRC.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah, we call them Christian lunatics in America.
Yeah, and he went to Congress to you know, he was in Congress to dispute.
But they had them all. I mean, Judas Priest had to go up. Your man Rob Halford had to make a case. They blamed him for some poor young fella killed himself.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. He has a track on this which is about the Senate hearing, and it's interspersed in the song.
Oh, very good.
Senate hearing, and it's called Porn Wars.
Yeah.
You know, he was so clever, Frank Zappa, like, you know. But anyway,
he died too young. If they ever needed Frank Zappa, they need it now.
I often think that, Paul. Yeah.
I mean, the man should be the president, you know.
Yeah. So he was actually offered the presidency of Czechoslovakia, and he was having. They said you can have it, but the Americans, you know, the CIA intervened. He can't be president of.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do you not have to be born in a country to be a president of it? No.
Not well in Czechoslovakia.
Depends on the constitution of the country.
I suppose. Yeah.
Now, the last four, Dermot, for yourself, 86 to 89.
Oh, by Jesus. This
is getting good. These are what we call the difficult years.
Yes, they are, yeah.
They are the difficult years.
I suppose, like, listening to everyone talking here, this is great. It sounds like therapy anytime I'm on these videos. Especially when the 80s come into it.
Yeah, because we all have different memories at that time.
Exactly.
A lot of different
listening
memories.
To you talking, Paul, I think a lot of what happened to me too was I was playing a bit of music myself, actually. And round about this time now, I was kind of doing a lot of music and stuff.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stick the radio.
Yeah,
I couldn't stick what would come on the radio.
I still can't.
Yeah, neither can I. I don't listen to radio. I couldn't stick to Top of the Pops. I couldn't stick any of these. I'd gone from kind of enjoying Top of the Pops to kind of watching out for a band I liked, like Iron Maiden and Top of the Pops, and then going from that to kind of absolute disgust with the whole thing.
Same here, yeah.
And I hated the whole 80s sound. It was like there was cool kids having a party and I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like that was the only way I felt about it. So anyway, I was out one night and I had too much to drink with a few people I knew, and I ended up in a flat above a shop. Like the guy's family had a clothes shop, and a load of us were there. One guy was out of his kite on an exercise bicycle in the room, I remember, and the guy put this on, Tutu by Miles Davis,
right?
And it's really 80s, but it's amazing.
So what do you mean 80s? Like a big drum sound?
It sounds 80s. I mean, it's so 80s, and it's got this kind of thin, slappy bass, this kind of the big drum sound and all that sort of thing. Yeah. But it's amazing. It's absolutely mind blowing. And I remember looking at his one hadn't got these strips on it, and I remember just looking at the photo of this man on the front of it. It's just like an amazing cover, and like on the back.
No, I've never heard that, Dermot. I've never heard that album.
It's mind blowing. It's 80s, but absolutely cool, like, you know. And I suppose going back to what I was saying about the King Crimson album as well, it's that kind of thing where you're in this 80s space and there's an artist there that is actually using that technology.
It's like there's an adult in the room or something.
Yeah. Perfect, Paul. Perfect. That's exactly it. It was like the adult in the room. Yeah. And I suppose in the early 80s, a band that I started to get into was Marillion. And the reason I got into Marillion was that my heart had been torn out by a teenage love of my life. And,
that's right. I know the story.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've all had that. And Fish's lyrics really kind of spoke to me, like, you know, and all this sort of stuff. And then they did Misplaced Childhood, which was a complete cock up, and I hated the bloody thing. Yeah. And then they brought out this next one, Clutching at Straws. Okay. Right. So I was there and I said, I'm not going to buy that bloody Mr. I was real, like, you know, the way we all are at that age, we're very unforgiving.
Oh, yeah, and you get personally insulted, don't you?
Yeah. And I was saying those bastards that they brought out that thing, it was crap.
They betrayed you.
Yeah, exactly.
You were betrayed, Dermot. You were betrayed.
I was let down. They tore my heart out again, like, you know, after being there to placate it after what had happened. But anyway, I met this guy, Johnny Casey, that I know he was a musician, like he's no longer with us, but like he said to me, he said, oh, you should buy the album, I said, why? I said, that last one was crap. And he said, Dermo, he said, anyone can make a bad album.
You're not wrong.
And I just thought, right, I'll buy this. This is amazing. It's kind of, he's on the piss. It was Fish falling apart. And he went on the piss. And every song on it is related to a different pub.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, there's even there's the name of a pub at the end of all the lyrics, like Champney's Hill Farm Train. Where have we got here? Mayflower Hotel, New York City, Wheat Sheaf, Howard's Heath, and all this. So it's all about like kind of drinking, breaking down, falling. Right. You see that the man was kind of going to leave the band and everything.
Right. Yeah, did he do another?
No. This was the last one he did with him, and it's a really good album. You know,
okay, I haven't heard it. No, I haven't heard it. No.
But yeah, I had to give up. Now, 1988 we get to, and I had only one album for the whole of 1988, and it's this 3.
Who's that by?
This was a kind of Emerson, Lake and Palmer spin.
Oh yes.
Right.
So they had Emerson, Lake and Powell, and that didn't go too well for them.
Right. And who's that then?
So this one we've got Emerson Palmer and Robert Berry.
Okay, so ELB as opposed to ELP.
Yeah, exactly. So the Power of 3. What's that, Pat?
I never liked that album.
No, it's awful. It's like, but it's the only one I have for 1988.
In your whole collection, there's one album from 88.
I have one album from I actually, because it was coming on these videos which I've had, I put all my albums into a spreadsheet and had the years and everything. And when I did them all over in the years. I organized it in years, because you said about this video. I couldn't believe it when I got to 1988. There was one record. But it's them trying to do a 90125 and failing.
Ah, right.
It's
terrible part.
It's not. I don't think there's even a good moment on it.
No, the only best moment on that is when the needle leaves the record.
When it goes back on the shelf.
Yeah. That's the only moment about that album. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, I was a big Keith Emerson fan, and
I still hate it.
This thing came out, and I bought it, and
there's just some bands it's like a step too far, isn't it? No matter how much you like them.
Yeah. It just left me with a bad taste in my mouth. So then I get to 1989, and when because I was kind of playing a lot of music and things, one thing that had happened, you know yourself, Paul, you'd be jamming with people, and the minute you get in with jamming with people, the easiest thing to play is blues,
Yeah.
So you kind of until you take it up to the level it should be at,
Right.
And I used to be playing loads of blues, and I love blues, and I really went into it, and all that sort of thing. And, 1989, then an album came out, which was The Healer.
Brilliant album.
Which
Johnny Hooker,
just
is that the one? Santana on that one, or is it?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, the title track Santana, and it's just mind blowing. I remember by this point now, I'd left Ireland. I was living in London, and I wasn't buying much music or that, which is probably why 1988 is one album. And I just remember this thing coming out, and I just said, well, do you know what? I'm going to give that a shot. I remember on The Healer, and when it opens with that Santana riff and John Lee Hooker.
Do you know that album?
I do know the album. I used to have it.
I
have another one that went by the wayside.
Yeah, great album.
Anyway,
so that's it. That's me 19.
I just, before I pick up my ones, I didn't have tickets for him. I did a lot of work in Germany over the years. I was over and back, and I might have been when did he die? Was it the late 90s or 2000 or something?
I don't know that.
I just remember.
I think it was in the 90s, Paul.
I remember there was a guy, a good friend of mine. He got into music kind of full time now, but me and him used to work in animation together a lot. We had a studio in Dublin together, the whole thing. But he was really into the blues. He still is, and he's got very much into cowboy music as well. But that kind of, that Gene Autry almost 1940s cowboy music. He's a gas man. But anyway, we were talking about going. We had ourselves lined up to see John Lee Hooker in Hamburg, and he played London, I think, and died.
Yeah, I remember he played in Hammersmith.
Yeah.
And
we were.
I remember I didn't get the tickets to it. And
you were in London at the time.
I was, yeah.
And we were looking forward to seeing him the week after, saying Hamburg. It never happened today,
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan of John Lee Hooker. I love him.
Yeah, amazing.
Do you know that album, Serves You Right to Suffer?
Yes.
No.
I know that one.
From 1965, you got to check it out.
But he did a series. He did a series of these. He had Mr. Lucky after.
But this one particularly from the mid '60s.
Right.
Something happened. He was. I don't know what he was on, or he was on a down, or whatever the fuck he was. But it's so simple and clear and direct.
Yeah.
It was right in the middle of that time, say when the Beatles had been whatever they were. He was just on his own road. It's a dark album. What a brilliant album. But anyway, check it out. So we're on 80. I'm on to
86. 86.
This is when I really shifted gears because I was trying to learn how to write songs and stuff. I got sick, like I said, of rock. So my country underlying leanings came out when I heard this. Steve Earle's first album.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that is an amazing country album. Yeah, it's a really country honky-tonk album, but brilliantly played, brilliantly sung.
I like Steve Earle.
Yeah, but that's really country now. But in a really, because there was 3 of them that came out in that year. Lyle Lovett, first album, Dwight Yoakam and him. And Lyle Lovett was like the Bob Dylan, the poet. Dwight Yoakam was a bit the Flash kind of guy, but he was more down to earth. Denim jacket, on the nose, straight in your face, country rock, I suppose. Brilliant album. So that would be my one, my main one from '86. And then you're talking about blues. My little honorable mention would be Robert Cray, who I got to see.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
What's that album? I used to have that. What's that called?
False Accusations.
Yeah, that's a brilliant album.
Good album.
Well, that year he played the Cork Jazz Festival, and I was down there, and I went down to see him, and the Hothouse Flower supported him that year. What a gig! It was just brilliant. So I just got into him then big time. So that's my 86.
Great guitarist.
Then my 87, I'm really shifting now. I got into these lads, Los Lobos. They're like Californian Mexican rock and roll.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I heard of them, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I saw them in 87 or 88, no, maybe 88 with this album, I think in the Olympia. And they were playing and all the lights went off. Like it just went power cut, something. And the lads went, you could hear them, hang on, hold on, guys, everything's okay. Somebody got a flash lamp and they were shining around the stage. And he said, give us a minute, give us a second, whatever. Kind of went quiet. Everybody stayed in their seats because you wouldn't want to walk in total darkness. And they came out, 2 lights went, 2 handheld lights went on, I think, or whatever the way they did it. And the boys came out with all the Mexican acoustic instruments.
Oh, right, yeah.
20 minutes of that music, you know. And then after that, Elvis Costello came out for the last 20 minutes of Electric. It was an amazing gig.
Fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant. And then my other 87
I
is...
remember just on them, Paul,
Yeah.
they had an album out in the early 80s. I remember that was quite big at that
Oh,
time.
yeah, Will the Wolves Survive?
Yes, yeah.
It's superb.
That
That's
was-
all the stuff that I started getting into. I still like my guitar music, but I was getting away from the noisy, screamy, stupid shit. And this thing was really interesting because it was, in a way, it was leaning back into the 60s a bit, but it was really great songwriting.
Yeah.
You know, with brilliant lyrics. And then I played in a band in Dublin in the late 80s called the Train Walkers. We used to be in the underground all the time. We supported a lot of the well-known bands, let's say, that got on to be well-known. But the boys in the band, they were all ahead of us from Tala, great crack. And they got me into these lads, the Replacements. And that is a superb hard rock and roll album. The boys liked it, which kind of shocked me because they were very much anti-rock in a way. The band was a kind of an indie thing. But there's a couple of, like, Shooting Dirty Pool on this. It could be like, it was Easy Top, where, you know, punks, they would go like this. Yeah. It's really, really good kind of bluesy punk rock guitar. Great stuff. Brilliant. And then 88, this is what saved me in Berlin. When I moved to Berlin in 89 to work on a film. It was my first time. I'd been out of Ireland a couple of times on weekends, but I bought this on CD, and that saved my fucking life in Berlin. Lou Reed's New York. Yeah. That is, I don't like the Velvet Underground. I haven't got a lot of time for him in the 70s because just not my cup of tea. But this album is just pure rock and roll, but amazing lyrics. And I love the lyrics. You know, I'm always interested in how people, what they're saying. But he's playing pretty much everything on it, I think, except for I think he has another guy helping him out on drums.
Yeah, I haven't heard that now.
It's a brilliant album. And like, you wouldn't expect it from Lou Reed, but it's, I don't know. To me, it's just great rock and roll. It's probably close to, what would it be like? Kind of like, it's not Tom Waits. It's kind of hard to describe. It's, it's very singular actually, but it's very rock and roll and great guitar playing and great stories, you know. Okay. Surprisingly, and I had it on when I was in Berlin, and I think I had this one CD when I was in Berlin, and I think that was it. I just used to put it on in the evening. And then my other one, this is the sort of honorary mention from that time, which is I was getting really into hardcore stuff, and Dinosaur Jr., they were kind of grunge before grunge. And they would have come out with the Husker Du lads and all them. That's a brilliant album. It's really punky and nice. Really good. You never heard of it?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, no, they're really good. And your man Jay Mascis is the main guy, and he kind of, it's like to a fan of, say, like the kind of rock you might like, Pat, it'll sound very sloppy. But there's something about it. There's like, it would be the bridge between the Pixies and, I don't know, take your pick of any of the grungy bands. There's something going on that he was after finding that was somewhere in there, coming out of the Sonic Youth and all them stuff. Okay. So very, very, it's like if you strum a guitar but have really high distortion on it. It's not like that riffy stuff. So it's really cool stuff. And then this is when rock was reborn for me then, 1989, when I kind of liked the Aerosmith album, Permanent Vacation. It's a bit of fun, you know, that dude looks like a lady and all that nonsense. Yeah. Just a bit of crack. And I thought, you know, well, they're not as corny as the other bands. But then they did this, which I think is a fantastic rock and roll album, Pump.
Oh, yeah, Pump, yeah.
Really great songs, brilliant lyrics, the whole thing. And they kind of got away from the kind of silly stuff. They went back to it again, I guess, to make a few bob. But that's an amazing album, I think. And that was that rekindled then. I went, hang on, there's something happening back in Rockland. I better go and have a look. And I picked that up. And if you even never liked Aerosmith, this or Rocks is from 76. But this is a fucking brilliant album.
Yeah, you really, know I don't like.
Yeah. I tell you, Pat, the songs on this and the guitar playing, everything about it is just absolutely brilliant. And then the one that I'd say, the honorable mention that really got me back listening to rock just before the Soundgardens and all those lads appeared, which really brought me back to it.
Sonic Temple, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't believe it. That's a brilliant rock
album.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So that's my set. There you go.
Brilliant, Paul. Absolutely. Sonic Temple is some album. I mentioned that.
Fantastic. That's the reissue now. I had the original, but I gave it to Gus.
I had the original, but the original one is actually terrible. The sound of it is desperate.
Yeah, well, my copy was in great nick, and I had bought this, so I gave it.
Very.
This is nice. That's nicely done.
No bottom end in it.
Yeah, that's been remastered, I think, and it's a double album. So
1986. I was waiting I said I couldn't wait for this album to come out. Emerson, Lake and Powell.
All
I
right.
couldn't wait. They were back. Now, this is not the one I bought because I wasn't in Russia recently. This is a Russian one.
It's a Russian one.
And I picked this up recently because I hadn't got it. But I think it's a brilliant album. Now, nothing like their 70s stuff. That'll show you how much prog had fallen from the 1970s. And Dermot will agree, in the 1980s.
And you could say the same about hard rock.
Yeah, it just fell. But still a brilliant album. But would it compare to anything in the 70s? No. But I love this album from 86. Absolutely brilliant.
See, we had to make do with what we had at the time, you know. I mean, I find that with a lot of these albums here, you know, there wouldn't be kind of things that I'd be constantly playing. But like at the time in the 80s, like, you know, any little thing you could grab was fantastic.
Grab onto, yeah, exactly. And that happened in 87. Because Paul will tell you, we were huge Deep Purple fans, like fanatics. And we couldn't wait for him to come back when the reunion for 84. But I was disappointed with Perfect Strangers.
Oh yeah, no, I was. I never liked Perfect Strangers is all right. Anything after that, I just
no. But actually, I couldn't believe how good the next album was, House of the Blue Light.
Yeah, you're always raving about it. I can't get into it.
No, I never got into it. No,
I think it's an incredible album because you know why? They were actually fighting again.
Yeah. I saw them on that tour, remember?
Yeah. That's right, you did. And there's an edge to this album where they're all kind of shaking hands and all lovey-dovey on Perfect Strangers. They're all up and...
Yeah, everybody's up for taking over the world again, yeah.
Yeah, they're all... You saw the video, and where were they? In Vermont, wasn't it?
It's great what money will do, isn't it?
It is, for about 6 months.
Yeah.
This one, listen to the opening track on this, Bad Attitude.
I know it. I just can't get into it.
I love the album.
It never did happen for me, no. And very quickly too, I kind of fell out of love with Perfect Stranger.
Yeah, me too. Me and another mate of ours went over to Birmingham to see that tour. That was brilliant. It was like watching Made in Japan on the stage. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's some band over in the 70s. Anyway, 1988, I bought this album. I think you have it ordered, Dermot, because I mentioned it the last time in another video.
Okay.
I bought this, and this is the CD I bought. I know whether you're into him, Paul. Queensryche.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh yeah, I got it, Pat.
Yeah, but that's how come? Well, you have two from 1988 then.
Yeah.
Oh, is this? Oh,
yeah.
No, I only looked at the vinyl. So yeah, I got it, Pat. I got it.
So you have two now.
I don't know. The jury's out, though. I have to say, like.
I think this is a brilliant album. It's the best album, Paul.
Yeah, I didn't like if they were on. I wouldn't turn them off, but I never looked into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the only album I have by him. I listened to stuff afterwards. Never as good as this.
No, is that their first album or second album?
No, I think it's a second. Is it a second?
Yeah, I think it's a second. Yeah.
There's a few moments on it, like Sweet Sister Mary, that kind of grabbed me. But, there's a bit. I keep getting flashes of spandex with sweaty.
Yeah, there's a bit of that going on.
Accoutrement swinging around.
Yeah.
But the Slim Pickens, I had Slim Pickens in 1988, lads. I think I might have had 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But 1989, Paul will agree with me on this album. I was up in, remember Freebird Records in Dublin?
Oh yeah, it's great.
In 89, I was up there.
Yeah.
And your man was playing this album on, I went over to him, I said, I like that. Who is it? I said. And I bought the actual CD of it. I should have bought the LP, but I bought the CD. Masters of Reality's first album.
Oh, brilliant album.
And I said, I have to have that album.
Is that from 89? I thought that was 91.
No, 89. And did you ever hear this, Dermot?
No, I never heard of it. I don't know who they are.
I think you'd like that, Dermot. That's a really interesting rock album. They're a really good band.
Brilliant. And you know who produced this album? Rick Rubin.
Right.
Yeah,
they're an unusual band, aren't they? They have something you wouldn't expect. Like with a name like that, you'd think it'd be a Black Sabbath ripoff.
But they're not a Black Sabbath. No, and they have that kind of, like, I think the Chris Cross, the singer and guitarist, I think he's from the south part of North America, you know what I mean? Around, he has that kind of, he's certainly from Texas, but I'm not sure.
There's a slightly, to me, there's a stoner rock that's been sped up vibe.
Stoner rock, and you can actually hear a little bit of on some of the track, a bit of Lynyrd Skynyrd in it. Yeah,
there's a bit of blues, yeah,
you can hear it in it. But this is some album.
Great album. Yeah, I actually finally picked it up on vinyl.
This is the actual CD I actually bought.
I bought it on cassette.
There you have it. And back in
There you go.
'89, I wasn't buying vinyl at all. Vinyl was dying.
Yeah.
CDs were the huge thing then.
But
And
I think
besides that-
we had a tape player in the house in London that was just there in the flat we were in, and I just bought the cassette because that's the only thing I could play it.
yeah, but it's a brilliant album. Dermot is one
That is
album, and I would love to pick it up on vinyl.
Well, I'll
For
tell you,
simple-
it's
simple
brilliant
reason I
that
just like
you
the
can
cover
keep
of it.
learning new things. Like,
Yeah.
I never even heard of this band.
Yeah, no, I actually, Pat brought it up. I kind of forgotten about him and picked it back out then because I don't really look at the cassettes anymore, you know. But they are a very good band, yeah.
Yeah, and our second album in 90 was it 91 or 92? 91, I think. They've got in Ginger Baker on it. You were talking about Ginger Baker earlier on.
Yeah.
And it's called Sunrise of the Suffer Bus, which is brilliant too, Paul. But different than that album.
Yeah.
Different.
Ginger Baker must have been drummer for hire, was he, for a while?
Was,
I think people would get him in. I know with Talkwind, he made that album with him and then started to. He toured the next year as Ginger Baker's Hawkwind after they threw him out of the band, you know, with other guys. You know, it just behaved like Ginger Baker.
Did you see that documentary about him?
I did, yeah. It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's unreal.
And that doesn't even go into half of it.
I know.
No, exactly. Anyway, lads, what do you think of that? That was interesting. A lot of interesting albums there.
That was a good mix there now, wasn't it, in fairness?
Very diverse.
Actually, I don't think we had one crossover, did we?
No.
Not one.
No.
None of us picked the same. Even on your honourable mentions, Paul.
Yeah.
There were none of them the same.
Yeah, I just couldn't limit it to. I could have picked 10 albums from each of the first 4 years of the 80s, all rock stuff. But I was struggling. By the time I hit 85, that's why I went into the other stuff that I was buying because I just knew I couldn't. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was a good show, lads. Good show.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on,
Paul and Dermot. And I just want to say to all the people watching, hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too long. And hit that subscribe button down there and like and all that stuff. And whatever you're doing, stay safe. It's nice to be nice, isn't it, Dermot?
Sure is, Pat.
Depends on who you're talking to. Depends on who you're talking to.
I know that.
It's nice to be nice. You're right.
For me,
You're right.
Paul and Dermot. Until my next video, anyway. Whatever you're doing, do it right. And bye for now.
See you. Good luck, lads.
Good luck, lads. Bye-bye.